Hey everybody, Danny here with Danny Murphy & Associates at First Team Real Estate doing our weekly real estate market update for Southern California. So we did a search on ChatGPT of the top questions that consumers have about real estate. And so the one I'm going to address today is, should I wait for prices or rates to drop before buying? So it was actually really appropriate. We had an economist, a real estate economist in today named Stephen Thomas, and we were talking about the overall market conditions, and rates. And so rates have been, like mortgage rates, have been on a steady, slow decline for the last 4 or 5 months. So that's been a good trend if you're a buyer and a seller. But the rates have been down. They were really in that 6.5% to 7% range for much of the last 2.5 years. So now what we've seen in the last 4 months is they're below 6.5%, and they're making sort of a steady march down towards what appears to be 6%. So the 10-year Treasury is what the 30-year mortgage rate is tied to. That's just dropped below 4%. And so that equates to about a low 6% mortgage rate on a 30-year mortgage. So that said, what we see is when as the rates are kind of coming down like that, the buyers start to come out. And so I think as a buyer, it starts to get more competitive. And it looks like we, in the first half of next year, in 2026, looks like we're going to have something with a 5 in front of it in terms of 30-year mortgage rates. And all the pundits and the experts, it looks like if that happens, you're going to see a lot more activity with buyers. And so I think it gets more competitive at that point, especially in the first-time market, right? So if you're in that first-time buyer price range, under $1 million in Southern California, it's going to get more competitive. You're going to have a lot more competition if that 30-year mortgage has a 5 in front of it. And so I think when that happens, now you're back into this situation where it's multiple offers, you're having to bid a little bit, you're having to give up on terms. And so the long answer to that question is, I wouldn't wait. As a buyer, I think the best time to be a buyer is right now, the fourth quarter of the year. And I think that going into the beginning of next year, things are going to start to heat up a little bit. So I think we'll see a little bit more inventory, but we're going to see more buyers out, and we're going to see rates probably go down potentially below 6%. So don't wait. If you're in a position where you can do it now and you're seeing houses that you like, I wouldn't be trying to time the interest rates because they've already come down a good bit. And if they do continue to drop, you'll do a refinance, right? And so, that's something that you can always do down the line. Get the house now when it's not quite as competitive, and you have a little bit more, options for negotiating terms, and then you can refinance it, in 6 or 12 or 18 months. So we're here to talk to you about all your real estate needs. We're here to advise you on that, whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, Southern California, Orange County. If you're outside of this area, we can refer you out to a great network of agents outside of California, all throughout the United States. So we are here to be your real estate advocate and consultants. So reach out to us anytime. Thanks.